Alright, we've got a space battle, 3 planets, a Hulk, and then unknown ships. Let's go to the space battle first, because we are supposed to be looking for Aeldari survivors. And this is likely the location. So far, we've always gotten there too late, and they've already been dead. A violent battle is unfolding before the rogue trader's eyes. Patrol ships from the Korda fleet are tearing apart 2 small Aeldari vessels. Once they are finished with them, the void ships give chase after the third, already damaged vessel, clearly with the intention of destroying it as well. Are we going to have to choose between Korda, another rogue trader fleet, or the last surviving Aeldari fleet? Seeing the last ship's impending death, Irlet calls out to the Lord Captain, her voice trembling slightly. Only the rogue trader's intervention can save her kin from the massacre. Send a message to Incendia Korda's fleet, ordering them to stop the battle. Do not interfere or help Incendia Korda's fleet engage the Aeldari vessel. I mean, attacking Xenos is what the God Emperor would want us to do. But at least from what we've seen, her group of Aeldari, the children of Ari, or something, like the Drukhari, obviously they capture and kill and whatnot. Children of Asuryan, that's what it was. The children of Asuryan don't specifically go out of their way to attack humans. When they found themselves stranded on Janus, which apparently was one of their own homeworlds long in the past, they wanted to reclaim their world. But they had already been accidentally stranded there, and it was their world. They don't necessarily go specifically to raid humanity. So it's like, I don't feel as bad about helping them. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to attack Korda's fleet, but just asking them to stop, maybe starting a dialogue, doesn't feel that bad. It's definitely straying from the dogmatic route. But I have a problem with all... I never want to side against companions that games like this give me. So let's try and talk to Korda's fleet, seeing if we can open a dialogue. The Voxmaster relays the Lord Captain's demand to stop the battle and soon returns with a reply. According to the Korda ships, this group of Xenos are malicious criminals. They are guilty of raiding the system's planets and robbing merchant vessels. Incendia Korda's void ships are intent on performing their duty before the Emperor and exterminating the Xenos. Are you sure it's these people and not those people? Iliad sullenly watches the unfolding chase through the stained glass windows of the captain's bridge. She grimly concedes that no crime should go unpunished, except her kin were fleeing transport ships. It would have been impossible for them to rob a ship, let alone launch a planetary raid. Vessels such as theirs simply lack the firepower to do so. Monkey are lying. Lord Xenos analyzed the intact Xeno ship. Ask Korda's patrol for proof of the Xenos' transgressions. Demand Korda's warships cease fire immediately and retreat. All of these we have 100% chance to succeed at. Xenos that dared defy humanity must be destroyed. Help Korda's ships or confront Korda's fleet. The Aeldari must be saved. Let's analyze the intact Xeno ship. Verify if Irlia is telling the truth. Despite the presence of some weaponry, the Xeno ship is more likely meant for transporting cargo or the Xenos themselves rather than direct combat. Let's ask her for proof of the Xenos' transgressions. The patrol captain reluctantly admits that there is no conclusive proof. This system is sometimes the target of pirate raids. However, this changes nothing. His servants have no mercy for the enemies of humanity. Alright, then let's demand their warships cease fire immediately and retreat. The fact that there is an unknown ships, hostile ships in the system at the time makes it feel very less likely that these non-combative ships are guilty. Like, hey, how about you attack these other ships instead, Corda? Yeah, demand they cease fire immediately and retreat. Unwilling to engage in open battle against the flagship of a foreign dynasty, the patrol reluctantly leaves its prey and retreats to the edge of the system. Meanwhile, the wounded Xenos is rapidly distancing itself from the recent battlefield, attempting to hide in the shadows of the nearest world. Every attempt to contact is met with frustration, and the Voxmaster reports that the vessel is in a deplorable condition. Who knows how much more the xenotechnology can endure before the irreparable happens. The Aeldari are too scared and resentful of the Monkey for the recent deaths of their kin to answer incoming hails. Despite this, Irlia is certain that she can convince them to cooperate with the Elentok if she is allowed to speak with them. I mean, if they're not answering the hails, then I don't think there's much that you can do. Let her speak with her kin. Only a 50% chance to succeed because she is using her own persuasion. Yikes. Give chase to the Xenoship, open fire on the wounded ship. Xenos have been saved from Corda's vessels. Their future fate does not concern the rogue trader. We'll let her have a chance. 50%. Make your best argument. Succeeded. Rolled a 15 on that 50% check. 2 watches pass, and the Xenos finally decide to answer Iliet's pleas concerning the Elentok's assistance, guardedly asking how exactly the Monkey can help their vessel. The Aeldari note that the humans' primitive technologies are incapable of healing the Aeldari vessel's wounds. The sudden benevolence of one human is equally incapable of bringing back those who perished in the recent engagement. Grant the Aeldari the rogue trader's protection by accepting them aboard the ship. Dude, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Grant the Xenos provisions and medicines. Open fire. Do we give them protection on our ship? We've already done so with Irliet. Or do we just give them some provisions and medicine and let them try and survive in their dying vessel? I don't know. It's such a bad idea, but I am curious to see where this storyline goes, because I want to know more about Irliet's storyline, and it's stuck on we need to save some of these Aeldari. So I guess we'll... Oh, it's such a bad idea. We'll grant the Aeldari the rogue trader's protection by accepting them aboard the ship. The Aeldari accept their fate with forced humility. They do not resist, but neither do they appear uplifted by their rescue. They see their stay on a Monkey ship as imprisonment, filled with uncertainty about what awaits them next. After a few watches, the Xenos suspicions are validated. The presence of outsiders who filled the lower decks was perceived by ordinary people as an invasion of godless mutants. Shouting prayers to the Emperor, they rushed to depressurize the compartment containing the Xenos alongside those who were touched by the filth of the unclean. Well, that's not good. The horrible news shakes Irliet. She blames herself for the death of her kin and regrets the hatred of Monkey towards her kind, a foolish product of fear. Rogue Trader sends punitive squads to the lower decks to hunt those responsible for the Xenos' death. Perhaps humans and Xenos simply cannot coexist in this world. I think they could. Like, there are certainly some Xenos, in the same way that there are some mutants that are tolerated by humanity. And Aeldari are not one of them, but that's because we sort of view Aeldari as a whole, rather than looking at their separate branches. But yeah, I think as much as I don't really want to punish my own crew for this, I'm sure I gave strict orders of how to deal with them being on our ship. And some people ignored those orders. So they have to be punished. Like, surely I didn't just put them there and say nothing to anyone. So, yeah. Someone went outside of their orders, and I'm going to send punitive squads to deal with it. Juliet can only shake her head. Monkey deaths will not bring her kin back to life. It will only spread even greater hatred, and the gap between humans and Aeldari will grow even wider. Yeah, that's fair. Sometime after, Juliet comes to the Lord Captain, haggard but still holding on to hope. She says that she came aboard the monkey vessel and set off into the darkness in the hopes of finding her kin, but found only corpses slaughtered by humanity's hatred. And though she and the Lord Captain were not always in agreement, the Alentok still tried to lend a helping hand. In gratitude, as she promised, she shares the coordinates of her kin's cache. Oh, so we did get the next step of that quest. In exchange for the rogue trader's help, Juliet provides the coordinates of a cache left by our people. It can be found in the last chance of Cyrene, in the orbit of a gas giant. Alright, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Let's check out the planets, then the Hulk, and then finally take on the unknown ships, I suppose. But I'm guessing the unknown ships are the pirates that have actually been preying on people. The planet is devoid of even the most primitive forms of life. However, the crew has made a quite strange discovery. A mirror, lying right in the center of a huge crater. A completely ordinary mirror in a frame, by all appearances, in pristine condition. Destroy it immediately, take the mirror aboard the ship, or leave the planet. I mean, it could be something heretical, since it somehow survived in the center of a crater. But I'd rather take it aboard the ship and at least examine it first. Or better yet, examine it down there. But that's not an option. The mirror now hangs on the wall in one of the compartments. It looks completely normal. However, only an hour after its arrival, the Voxmaster reports that the shuttle crew that delivered the mirror has disappeared. The people who hung the mirror have also disappeared. Even the enforcer who wandered into the compartment by mistake and stopped to fix his new non-regulation cravat has vanished without a trace. Yeah, okay. That's not good. Dispatch a group of servitors to jettison the mirror. Dispatch a group of servitors to smash the mirror. Send a team with righteous prayers on the lips. Demolition, blow the whole compartment with the mirror inside. Or seal the compartment and continue the voyage, or wait. Waiting is interesting. Because waiting could potentially have those people who went in get released, so we have more information. Or it could potentially cause more people to fall in. I would say, if I had a choice to decide what I want to do, seal the compartment to make sure no one else ends up falling into the mirror or whatever, and then wait. Keep, cameras pointed at the mirror and see if anyone comes back out. Let's try the wait, see what happens. After 3 watches after the shuttle crew's disappearance, strange squelching and snapping sounds are heard coming from the mirror compartment, accompanied by a putrid odor. Force open the door or keep waiting. Let's force open the door. Whatever we were waiting to happen has happened. So let's check it out. Force open the door. The door opens to reveal streaks of some odd slimy substance interspersed with clumps of what looks like moss and growth hanging from the ceiling. Further inspection shows that the mirror is actively secreting biomatter, including fast-growing mold spores. Yeah, I think get rid of the mirror by any means necessary. We have let it do its thing long enough. We clearly don't want this to continue any farther. Get rid of the mirror by any means necessary. This time, the sinister mirror does not cause any trouble. Servitors drag it to the disposal chute, where they jettisoned it. Augurs track the mirror on its flight, indicating that it is still leaking biomatter. However, all strange incidents on the ship have ended, and the crew can now continue their journey. I guess no means to destroy it at that point, so it's somebody else's problem in the future. Well, that's somebody else's problem. Let's avoid the unknown ships. Yikes. 2 plasteel, don't care. Nothing here. By their arduous labor and unbreakable spirit do his faithful servants fuel hundreds of Imperial worlds. Their entire lives are an example of true service to humanity. Let's check out the Hulk. A vigilant member of the Augur crew has detected a small xenos vessel drifting through the void. The ship is unpowered and shows no signs of being crewed. Send out a boarding shuttle, rather than just opening fire. The squad board the vessel without issue. Corrosion has laid waste to the ship's systems, which led to the death of the entire crew. The interior is full of Aeldari corpses. No weapons were found on board, and the dead xenos, judging by their clothing, were not part of any warrior caste, merely the crew of the now defunct ship. The xenos Irliet claims to have recognized the symbols on the dead Aeldari's clothes. They were civilian refugees from Craftworld Kruderak. Alright, let's take on these unknown ships. Okay, Drukhari blocks some of our flagship's posts. They will regain control of these posts in several rounds. That's normal. Is it just a single Drukhari vessel? No, 2 Drukhari vessels. Right, there's 4 ships. Myself and my ally being 2 of the 4 ships. And as always, we are last in initiative. Oh, when you sent out torpedoes, of course you did. Well, I could go somewhere like here. And get 2 shots off on you. And then maybe still be able to turn to get a side shot on you. I think that's a reasonable choice, and we'll just ignore that little guy there. 68% is not amazing. If we got closer, still 68%. But that, when we hit, they'll put on their shields, and that will allow us to be close enough to ignore the shielding effect they have. So yeah, let's start here.
This one's going down. Fire the lance batteries!
And if we go here, that'll allow me to get another shot off. Not quite a kill, unfortunately. There's nothing I can do to get to where I can use my other guns. Warp wave on them, just to do a bit more damage. Alright.
Torpedoes locked!
I really should use the vulnerability scan more. I guess I can do it now. Okay, they take more damage from the back, apparently. That'll be good for my interceptors. So if I put you here, you still have some maneuverability afterwards, but that shot will be coming from the back to do more damage. Or I could instead move you forward so that you can take out the torpedoes and then park yourself in front of them because it's funny. Or I could just put you in front of them and take out the torpedoes. That's probably the smarter call because you're not going to be able to kill them. Okay, torpedoes are down. You're in front of them so they can't drive. Oh, no. Can't stop. That's a shame. Ah, well. It is what it is. Not really worried about this fight. Looks like we'll win pretty quick. Taking minimal damage. Oh, they're gonna go after the frigate. Oh, did you recharge your shields or something? No, just launch some more torpedoes. That's fine. Let's do another shot here. Nearly dead. Could warp jump forward. I think I shall. That'll let me get a shot here. Let's see. One of these is going to take them out, and then the other one I'll use on the torpedoes probably. 52 to 60 damage, or 4 shots of 21 damage. Let's go with you here. Which might miss at 68%.
Fire the last batteries.
Fade into nothing.
Nope, we're good. Then we will fire our 4 shots onto you.
Fire right now!
Didn't quite take him out. Launch interceptors there. They can finish you off. And then we'll move forward, I guess. Because why not? Looks like you are facing this way. So we'll have you block their route. Fire back at them. Didn't end up mattering. Where are you going? It is my turn. Oh, okay. Why did you get to move when it's still my interceptor's turn? Odd. Not that it really matters. Fight's over, but weird. 100 scrap. I don't think I took any actual damage through my shields. Verify that. Yep, hull is still fully repaired. I could upgrade the RAM again. Might as well. If I downgrade it all the way, I might have enough to go up another level, but probably not, because that takes 600 scrap, which is a bit crazy. Is that everything in this system? I think it is. We're very much approaching the end of this stream. Well, let's see what options are available to me. So we've got routes to these two, Gamma, this other system, Nola, whatever. We were told about the cache, Last Chance of Cyrene. Where is that? Last Chance of Cyrene, up here, which we don't know how to get to. Okay. Well, before we continue here, I think I want to go to Foulstone and Dargonus, is it? Yeah, Foulstone and Dargonus. Foulstone for a Xeno raid, Dargonus for some sort of holy delegation. In the middle of a warp jump, our sensors detected an approaching void ship similar to ours in size, but of greater tonnage. The unidentified vessel did not respond to our hails and kept its course, approaching us at high speed. We've seen this one already, which is strange. I guess try to avoid the collision, because I'd rather not fire upon a ship just because we can't identify it. Succeeded again. The unplanned maneuver was completed without any casualties or damage. The unidentified vessel, or perhaps it was a warp mirage, passed us by and made no attempts to follow us. Didn't realize that those events would repeat themselves. During the warp voyage, the Navigator Sanctum reported that there are warp reefs right on the ship's course, the fragments of the Sea of Souls given material form. The Navigator may either steer the ship past the dangerous region or risk approaching the ragged formation to gain valuable insight. 25%. I'm gonna say we just steer past it because it's using Cassia's lore warp, which is not amazing. Steer past the vessel past the warp reef, which it followed the route charted by the Navigator and successfully passed the troublesome region. 25% check is not worth risking. Alright, this is Janus. We want to get down to Foulstone. Mysterious sickness struck the clan living in the macro cannon chambers. The disease quickly spread, causing the afflicted to writhe with unbearable stomach cramps and expire after several days of agony. Before the officers could react, the neighboring clans took the issue into their own hands and flooded the chamber with carbon monoxide. The macro cannon was put back into service, and the vigilantes were punished for subjecting the rogue traders' servants to mob justice. The Imperium released us from its grip this time. Back here to Foulstone. Shifts and forces notified the officers of a strange insect-like creature appearing on the astropathic chamber deck. The entity was destroyed, but the incident was recalled a few days later when one of the astropaths lost his mind, shrieking about a splitting headache. The psyker perished shortly after, and the autopsy revealed the presence of countless bloated larvae consuming his brain. The corpses and the insects were safely disposed of. Alright, here we are in Foulstone system. When in doubt, save. Yeah, I should save more often. Let's save. Foulstone. You're about to be attacked or something. Blasphemous Drukari xenos have assaulted the colony and are now rampaging through it, driven by their desire to eviscerate the entire world. Enter battle. Pay human tribute to the Drukari of one person, or one people. Fight them off with the colony's own forces. Now we'll make haste to aid the colony. Is grayed out. Odd. Enter battle. Not sure why we can't make haste to aid the colony. Whatever that means. Maybe if we'd gotten here too late, we would have had to do a fight on ground. That would have required making haste to aid the colony.
Finally, some real action.
Yep, we're aware of them shutting off some of our command posts. It's fairly normal. So yeah, just 2 ships of theirs. Helen Cyrix frigates. And you send out some torpedoes. Maybe I should have gone for the upgrade that gave me initiative. If I go here, then I'll have the usual good shots that I want.
Bleed them.
good.
This one's going down.
There. If I then go along the side of them here, be able to take a shot here, which would strip through their shields. But I don't know that that necessarily matters, because we've already hit them from the side twice, right? Hard to tell. They don't have shields like we do, where they're clearly identified.
Another salvo!
None will lament their demise.
Alright, perfect. They're taken out. Let's launch some interceptors.
Torpedoes locked!
Over here so they're not blocking our way. Can I end my turn here? No, I've got to move forward to there specifically.
Onward!
Alright, that's fine. Let's have you take out the torpedoes. You're not going to be able to take out their ship. Can you get to here? Yes, but it wouldn't count as ending your turn. Oh, it did count as ending your turn. Okay. Cool. So we can box them in. Hopefully they won't be able to get all of their weapons on us. Like their main front guns. Did they take out... Yeah, I think they took out our gunship. Okay. That's fine. That is sadly going to be too far away to get the range bonus. So after they put up their shields, we're not going to have a good shot on them. If I use this, then I could get good angled shots. Alright then.
Lay in the course!
Oh, that was not... I didn't mean to go there and then use that ability. Well, that was a ginormous waste.
Fire the last batteries! Bleed them!
If I went here, then you could at least take another shot on them.
Onward!
Terrible chances to hit. But it is what it is. I guess I could have faced forward and then warp jumped. And that might have gotten me close enough to have a better shot. That was arguably a mistake.
Unleash our vengeful salvo!
Let's do a warp wave on you. Just get a bit of damage. Ooh, they will have a hard time if they're facing that way, turning around to get their front guns on us. So probably just going to get hit by side guns, or they'll shoot their front guns at our friend. We've taken some good damage, actually. Yikes. Let's have you take out their torpedoes. And then jump in front of them. Ah, you can't end your turn there. It's a shame. And I guess start going this way, so you're better faced to deal with wherever they end up. Because they're probably going to be heading this way. Three misses. Perfect. Oh no. Did not realize I'd be that close to those torpedoes. But it is what it is. And they're shooting on the side. They've already taken out our shield. Of course they are. Ooh, what effect did you put on us? Engine malfunctions. Now, let's use this from the start. And the fact it was available again the following turn is probably due to that upgrade that occasionally lets me use my abilities again. If I am here, I can shoot you.
This one's going down.
Only 28. That really doesn't count as being within 2 squares. Alright, then if I warp jump, I was hoping that would give me the side shot, but I don't think it's going to. I'm just going to be barely too far forward. And I can't strafe. He already used his ability. So sure, let's warp jump. Can I get that shot? No. But hopefully I'm close enough that this... Oh, and I can't get that shot either from here. Oh, double mistake. I was hoping that'd put me close enough that I didn't take that penalty. But it seems that was not the case.
Torpedoes locked.
Yeah, mistakes all around. Alright, let's have you deal with them. Then you can go there to try and stop them, as usual. Get a little bit of damage in. No damage? Why no damage? Why? That's happened a few times where I move my interceptor forward and it just dies suddenly. And I'm not sure what causes it. So I can get all the way here, but we're still not facing them. So there's no way I'm going to be getting the nose of my ship pointed at them. Unless I do swing run, which would have wasted that then. But I can swing run to get facing them, because otherwise I can't really get into a position where any of my weapons are well placed. What are you? Boarding party. Start internal fires. Eh. Sure, let's do the swing run.
Bleed them.
Good damage, but now their shields are up, which lowers my attack chance. I can't do the warp jump. Do a warp wave on them, just to get a bit more damage in. Okay. Yeah, I might as well take the shot.
Another
Oh,
enemy sundered
there we
by
go.
the void.
And then, why do you keep getting movement turns on my turns? I'm super confused. What's your deal, man? You have no abilities that explain that I can see. Is that an ability I have where... Well, no, it can't be just like whenever I kill a ship, they get a free move or something, because they've done it even when my interceptors had their turn. If I go here... Is that... Nah, it doesn't quite hit, though I could extend the range. Maybe that's the call. Extend the range. There we go. Take some free shots.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars.
0 shield and 0 hull damage. Okay. Sure.
Unleash our vengeful salvo!
Just take him out for me.
Fit for the fond Phalanceus annals.
132 scrap, but we're going to need to spend some of that to repair ourselves. Can't quite boost our RAM any farther. So Foulstone is now safe. Anything further to do with you while we're here? No. You're fully upgraded. Next we need to get to Dargonus. And also here, Platinum Stellos. Maybe. Yeah, that's that. There. I think I'm going to go to here, but we'll hold off on actually doing that event until next stream. Acolytes of the cult Mechanicus have reported a disturbing incident. All Vox systems on the middle decks started broadcasting otherworldly sounds, whistling a haunting melody. These strains of monstrous music drove people into a frenzied dance that could not be stopped. Several hours later, the Vox devices fell silent, and the dancing crew members fell lifeless. The area was cleared, and the bodies of the deceased were disposed of, with the necessary precautions. Strange. The officers on one of the lower decks stopped providing status reports. 3 days had passed since the Vox systems broadcasted anything other than subdued moans and wet slapping sounds. An enforcer squad sent to investigate reported that the denizens of the lower levels had regressed to animals and succumbed to depravity. The connection with the squad was shortly lost. The High Missionary of the Adeptus Ministorum became flushed with fury and condemned these designs of the archenemy. The hotbed of heresy was cleansed with fire and prayer. 8 damage taken. By the God Emperor's grace, no perils of the warp prevented the vessel from returning to real space. Well, let's quickly repair that 8 damage. And end here. So next time we will hop in to answer the call for help from Grantis. Then we'll head up to Dargonus here to figure out what the Holy Delegation is. And then after that, I think we will finally make our way back over to this area to maybe eventually deal with Kieva Gamma and end Chapter 2. But yeah, we'll deal with that then. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week when we continue. Bye.